Welcome to a new edition of Collecting Small Diecast Land Rovers, and we're going to the Caramas today, and 143rd, so let's see what we've got. In episode 22 we're taking a look at the Series 3 soft top Fire Brigade models, and I received a message from Matt Roberts to say that he'd spotted a difference on them that I'd missed, and it was a blatantly obvious one, to be honest. Just not sure I missed it. But it involves the D-rings on the front bumper. Now, we've got one that we were looking at even in an earlier video, which I shall just bring in here and show you. Right, either side of the front number plate, there's usually 2 D-rings for towing, etc. These are missing on the later Oxford Diecast re-releases. Now, I'd totally missed this, so thank you to Matt for that. It involves the ones that are currently coming out from Oxford in these black boxes. So we know that we've lost the steering and they've got painted rear windows, etc, etc. So I've updated the website to reflect this, so it's worth looking out that any ones that are coming from Oxford now in these new black boxes will feature this change to the front bumper. Is there any more that I've missed? Quite possibly, but this is where the website etc works, and the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. People spot things, to take a closer look at theirs and see things that sometimes can be quite blatantly obvious, but just get overlooked when you're looking for other things. So from now on, any black box Oxford releases, we're going to be checking them really carefully for that. Right, so let's move on to what we've got for you today. So we've got 2 different liveries for you today. First one is the blue Motorway Patrol in the Royal Automobile Club livery. That is a mobile breakdown service that comes out to you. It's one of the oldest established in the country and has lots of members. At one time you could get a badge from them to display on the front of your vehicle, and many vehicles used to drive around with proudly displaying the badge. It's also fair to say that the AA, which is the main rival to these chaps, it was the Automobile Association, and their bright yellow badges could also be seen on cars. And in later times you often see classic cars that go to these classic car rallies sporting both badges, because the badges themselves have become quite collectible. But we're not into badges, we're into die-cast Land Rovers. So we're going to kick off first with the RAC Patrol and see what differences there are on the models that are available. So quite surprisingly, there's only 2 versions of this that I've been able to find. Now, considering how popular this livery is with collectors, Oxford Diecast don't seem to have re-released it, so maybe it's a planned future release, but there's only 2, and if you've been paying attention, I'm quite sure you'll know mostly what the 2 variations are, and it surrounds the wing mirrors. So let's get looking at the first one, and then we'll unbox the second and we can see what's changed. So the very first version of this features 4 mirrors, which we've seen a theme running through a lot of these models, and How long they stayed with 4 mirrors, we don't really know. But the opening doors, they feature on this version, as do as does the steering. Everything's pretty much to what we've seen in the previous models, and even the clear rear window. Interestingly, this vehicle carries the GPX registration, whereas the ones we've seen in previous videos have all carried the alternate WXX. What criteria they placed onto which vehicle carried which number plate, we don't really know, but it's looking quite good is this model, even if the turntable's throwing a bit of a wobbler. If you've been following these videos, you'll know that we've found that the doors don't really open very far on them and could be quite stiff to manoeuvre. This one appears to open just slightly further than some of the others, so let's see if we can get in and have a look at the detail inside. There we are. Steering wheel detail and seats, etc. So we'll just manually turn this round so you can get a better look at the front. This one has the interior mirror for the driver up at the top of the windscreen there. Wipers all picked out, and of course the 4 lights, 4 mirrors plainly visible. Very popular, this livery, as we've said. Most manufacturers had a go at it, and if you were just wanting to collect the, purely RAC vehicles, you could build up a very nice little collection. But, as we come round, nicely detailed down the side. Sorry for the glare. The thing that has been pleasing is the wheels on all these 1/43 have stayed really nice, crisp, whereas the 1/72 they became very poor towards the end, let's be fair. Cool. That's all down to worn dies, I should imagine. Right, as we come round the back, the nice clear rear window. All the detailing on the back is nicely depicted. We'll try going in a little bit further for you, but we're getting towards the end of the focus. There we are. Even the Land Rover badge is nice and clear. In real life, you've got to have good eyesight to see some of these details. Don't forget, if you're watching on a big screen, then the image is being multiplied so much that a lot of this detail comes out, which isn't necessarily visible on the model as such. Right, we shall just take a look underneath. Just underneath there, that's the steering mechanism. If you haven't watched any of our other videos, it is pausable steering, so pausable should I say, not pausable. It clicks round, not a lot of turning to the wheels, so you'd be doing multiple turns to turn around in the rod, but they've made an effort. It's there, so better than no steering at all. Underneath detail, the usual hung well on the base. As we come to the back, there's the screws we mentioned for dismantling it, and there's one there at the front, just behind the front axle. No tow bar, of course, which this is like the AA. They missed a chance, because the RAC would often be bringing in vehicles that are broken down, so they could have accompanied this with a trailer and made a nice little play setup, but not seen one at all. So there we have it, the rather smart looking RAC Patrol mobile service unit, and of course it's a Series 3 soft top. Right, we'll just unpack the second version and we can take a look at what's changed on that. Right, this is the second version of it. Everything's identical to the first, with the exception of we've lost the mirrors on the front wings. Everything's identical underneath, so not a great deal to say about this one. Really surprised there isn't a third or even a fourth version of this. But Oxford have surprised us from time to time, bringing out older models, so this one may appear. If it did, I would imagine we would lose the clear rear window and we'd also lose the steering. But nice models, look nice on the shelf. You don't have to have such keen eyesight to pick out most of the details on them. So that's it, only 2 to go at on these. Always worth keeping an eye out just to see if anything new appears, but no signs as of yet. So let's move on to the next, and that's going to be 2 UN ambulances. So we'll just set up for them, and we'll be back in a sec. So this is the white UN vehicle, United Nations of course, soft top, but it features the windows in the soft top, which is unusual. I think it's about the only one that it does feature. Perhaps there is an army one. Yes, there is, looking across the at the shelves. WXX registration on all of these. Not seen the GPX applied to these at all. Only 2 to be had. The difference being in the wing mirrors. Again, it seems to be a change they've gone through. This one, they must have made a lot of models because this crops up everywhere. The previous RAC one, they're not as common. You just don't see them, whether they're in collectors' hands and they don't leave. That's a possibility, but these seem to be constantly on the internet cropping up. So only ever seen the 2 versions. The only change between that and the one we're going to look at in a minute is the wing mirrors. Interior mirror stays the same, the underneath is all the same. And this is one that, if it was released, I would doubt it would ever go through the painted rear window, because if they did that, they would have to paint the side ones, and I think it would totally ruin the model. So it's unlikely that they'll bring this one out again. But what do I know? That could change. Not too expensive, these. You can pick them up usually around the £5–6 mark, maybe slightly more. It's just the postage that makes them a bit more dear. Always going to get somebody listing them at a ridiculous £15, £16, £17, but just bide your time. There's plenty out there, so the one will come along. So that's the 4 mirror version, and we'll just get the other one for you to take a look at. As you can see, there's nothing different in these, just when they plugged the cast in to get rid of the forward wing mirrors, they did quite a good job, because you can never really tell that they were ever there. We've always assumed that the 4 mirror was the early version. It does seem to crop up in the older boxes, and often there's 3 packs were issued early on with 3 of these in. There'd probably be an army one, this, and another. So they all tended to feature the 4 wing mirrors. So as I say, that's what we base the theory on. until someone proves otherwise. Quite nice looking vehicles. Again, if this is indeed supposed to be an ambulance, you could put something in the back, or if it's just a general runabout, could also put equipment in. Pretty ignored by Code 3 people are these for some reason. Maybe a little cottage industry for you there if you want to. Problem with Code 3 work is that the amount of hours you put into it, you never get your money back. You know, if you were doing them to sell, as anyone who's done modelling will know that it takes time. We'll just have a quick look underneath on this one, but don't be surprised, there's not been any changes. So, as we say, no changes at all. It's a pretty standard base, this. And when they do away with the steering, they revised all this at the front, and they took away the branding. So, up to press, I don't recall seeing one of these with no steering, but with Hornwell still on. It's possible that one is out there, but I've not seen one yet. So altogether, no surprises with these two liveries that we've seen today. Unlike the Red Cross light brown Army ambulance we saw in the last video, dealing with the 43rd scale ones, that did throw up a surprise with an unknown version that we weren't expecting. So we'll keep looking on these. If anything comes up at a spot, well then we will do a video on them, just to keep you fully up to date. Still waiting on Oxford Diecast stuff to come out, or to find some new finds in the 176th scale. I do have some Corgis, some Corgi 143rd Land Rovers. They're limited editions. I think we might take a look at some of those while we're waiting for other things to come in. In the next one, we're going to be taking a look at what appears to be a couple of one-offs, where they've made one model and there doesn't appear to be any versions of it. Having said that, by the time I get to make the video, I'll have found there's a load of them, and I look a right idiot, but never mind. We're here to learn, and I think one of them is going to be the mountain rescue one, the RAF mountain rescue vehicle, and possibly there's a rail track one as well. Rail track is a railway company that was in the UK. And then we might have a sneaky look at a pickup. I think it's time we looked at a different body shape. So until then, stay safe, and we'll see you again next week. So happy collecting.